In the opening scene, a gravely injured man desperately flees in terror from a mysterious pursuer. The chase ends brutally as the pursuer finishes him off in the woods and drags his body away. The scene then shifts to a cheerful family of 4 on a road trip in their camper. They stop for a meal, and the father, Keith, prepares a barbecue, serving undercooked steak to his son, Jeff. Jeff happily accepts it, unlike his sister Amy, who refuses to eat and goes for a walk, leaving their mother, Kathleen, to defend her. As the couple discusses the matter, Jeffrey pulls out some chocolate bars and counts them. Meanwhile, Amy sneaks away to her stash and secretly takes some. Their peaceful moment is interrupted by 2 locals, Billy and Vern, who arrive in a truck claiming to be looking for their cousin Melior, who disappeared the night before. Keith, unfamiliar with the area, denies knowing Melior, but Vern continues the conversation, asking about their home. Keith stands firm and is barely hospitable. To ease the tension, Jeff offers his chocolate bars as a friendly gesture, but Vern insists on trading his stash instead. Vern enjoys the chocolate just as Amy returns, and the 2 men look at her with unsettling interest. They ask if she has seen Melior, but a nervous Keith tells Amy to return to the van and apologizes to the men for being in a hurry. The 2 men then leave without incident. Keith and his family pack up and resume their journey home. Unfortunately, they encounter the men again, seemingly stranded with a broken truck. Kathleen is skeptical of their story, especially upon seeing Vern with a shotgun. The men claim that the only towing service is closed and ask for a ride, as the family is headed in their direction. Sensing their discomfort, Vern suggests leaving him behind and taking Billy instead. Keith reluctantly agrees, despite Kathleen's unease, and they take Billy along. During the ride, Billy engages the family in conversation and plays a game with Jeff, though Kathleen remains uneasy. Billy talks about his home with his uncle and cousins, repeatedly assuring that they are good people who have been running the place since childhood. The atmosphere shifts when Billy picks up Jeff's notebook, only to recognize it as belonging to their missing friend, Melior. Jeff unexpectedly attacks Billy, yet everyone remains calm as if nothing happened, even as Billy succumbs to his injuries. It is revealed that the family had taken out Melior the night before for their own reasons. Meanwhile, one of Billy's cousins finishes her routine and puts down her weapon. Back with the family, they proceed to mutilate Billy's body and store it in their freezer, revealing their cannibalistic nature. Kathleen gives what appears to be an eyeball to Amy, her favorite. When Billy's phone rings, Keith smashes it, reminding everyone they need to hurry as they don't want to keep their host waiting. At the home of Billy's uncle, known as Pa, he is joined by Billy's cousins Julie and Savannah for dinner. They are interrupted by a knock at the door, surprised to find Keith and his family. The family claims Billy sent them after meeting them when their camper broke down while Billy and Vern were searching for Melior. Hearing this, the cousins welcome them in. Keith immediately tests the waters by asking to use the phone, relieved to hear only Billy had one. During dinner, Savannah questions why Billy didn't drive them home if they met him on the way. Kathleen explains that Billy was on foot when he and Vern were searching for Melior and that the vehicle was with Vern, who was elsewhere. This raises suspicion, leading everyone to draw weapons. But the tension is diffused when a large man named Big Mac arrives, causing everyone to hide their weapons. Meanwhile, Vern waits on the road trying to call Billy, whose phone is off. A vehicle stops and Vern is relieved, thinking it's Billy's, but it turns out to be the deputy sheriff who previously falsely accused Vern of a crime. The sheriff apologizes and offers a lift, but Vern declines, explaining that a kind family from LA gave Billy a ride. The sheriff leaves despite Vern's suspicious state, unaware that Jeff's spiked chocolate bars caused Vern to feel ill. Back in the house, Jeff offers candy, but Pa refuses, citing the importance of dental health. Nevertheless, Julie takes 2 candies from Jeff and shares one with Big Mac. Later, Amy excuses herself to the restroom, but instead rolls up her stash. Nervous as Savannah waits outside, Amy drops the eyeball her mother gave her without noticing. Amy and Savannah bond seamlessly, but Julie interrupts, calling them back to the living room. Pa invites everyone for the evening's entertainment, where Savannah impresses with her piano skills. Afterward, Pa shows the couple to their room for the night, while the girls lead Jeff to Billy's cozy room. With all rooms occupied, Julie suggests Savannah host Amy, as she hosts Big Mac and isn't interested in men. To her surprise, Amy shares a similar interest, but keeps it to herself. Savannah tucks Pa in for the night, voicing her suspicions about the overly kind guests. Pa jokingly suggests they might eliminate them one by one and torch the house. Meanwhile, in the couple's room, Kathleen expresses her discomfort, as she only targets those who harm others or are burdens to society, never innocent families. However, Keith reminds her of their mission to eliminate troubled people they consider lowlifes. It's revealed that they travel far from civilization to target these individuals, aiming to save them from suffering. Kathleen, however, thinks this family simply lives off-grid, noting that Savannah was recently accepted into into community college. Keith then goes to Jeff's room to brief him on the plan, warning him to stay away from Big Mac, whom he intends to handle personally. Vern, now convinced something has happened to Billy, sets off to find him. Meanwhile, Savannah is surprised to see Amy using a phone, explaining that her battery is almost dead, saving it for emergencies. Unbeknownst to Savannah, Julie is in the bathroom vomiting due to the chocolate toxins, while Big Mac also suffers outside. Inside, Amy reveals her mother's support for her secret, kept from her strict father. As they enjoy their time, Amy's family springs into action. Keith sneaks upstairs to Pa's room, and Jeff appears behind Big Mac. Jeff attacks Big Mac, initially gaining the upper hand, but is overpowered until Mac vomits, allowing Jeff to choke him. Keith witnesses this from the window and, shocked, wakes Pa before splitting his head open. He reprimands Jeff for the dangerous move, but secretly praises his bravery and rewards him with Mac's tongue. Amy pulls out her weapon, but a last-minute change of heart by Savannah causes her to fall on her cutter, explaining it's for protection. Savannah fetches medical supplies and stitches her up. Impressed by Savannah's skills, Amy hesitates to harm her, admiring her talents that defy the family's expectations. Savannah hears noises outside, discovers the family's camper nearby despite their earlier claims, and investigates. Inside, she finds Big Mac's mutilated body. Meanwhile, Julie finds Amy's dropped eyeball, shocking her. She stumbles to Pa's room, horrified by the scene. Keith seizes her, allowing Kathleen a chance to join in, but she's interrupted by an arrow piercing her neck. Savannah, skilled with a bow, takes down the evil family. Amy screams at her father, insisting the people are not drifters or trash, but Keith dismisses them. To retaliate, Keith ties Julie up, knowing Savannah will come to her aid. Savannah sneaks into Amy's room, finds her phone, and calls for help. The deputy sheriff receives the call, recognizing the LA area code and recalling Vern's story about a kind family. Savannah easily subdues Jeff, negotiating her sister's release. However, Keith vows to end her sister, and Amy turns against Savannah, aiding her capture. Keith prepares Mac's tongue for Julie and jokes about its smell, hinting by presenting Mac's mutilated arm, horrifying her. He coldly cuts off Julie's thumb and eats it, threatening Savannah's fingers. Savannah claims Amy had an intimate encounter with her, provoking Keith. The revelation about Amy's hidden life and drug use shocks Keith. Savannah seizes the moment to escape, using a fork to stab Keith's eye. Keith devours his own eye, but Vern arrives and shoots Keith, immobilizing him briefly before Jeff intervenes. Chaos ensues as everyone fights for survival. Savannah battles Jeff, burning his hand and scalding his face with boiling water. As he weakens, Savannah applies pressure to his neck, killing him. Vern fights Keith, who grabs a knife and stabs Vern fatally. Keith is momentarily pleased, but Julie, now free, takes her chance to harm Keith. The sisters finally feel relief, only for Amy to rise and fatally stab Julie. An enraged Savannah brutally fights Amy, smashing her face against the piano, allowing her a final moment before ending the nightmare. Savannah is suddenly killed by the deputy sheriff, misled by the scene. The deputy, sympathetic to the guests, calls for medical help, reporting that the villagers killed the tourist family. Investigating a noise, he finds the family's camper, and unbeknownst to him, Amy torches the house, driving away with evil still coursing through her veins. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I always love hearing from my viewers, so feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts on the video or any suggestions for future content. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.